If you don't know, now you know.
Think about the years I was raised. Back in the day. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid. And everybody say, I remember way back when. And everybody say, I remember way back when. And everybody say, I remember way back when. What? Back in the days when, back in the days. I'm still back in the days, but now the year is 87, 88. That's when my crew and I were in junior high in 7th grade. I hated school, shit had grown up. No doubt I couldn't wait to get out and be a grown up. But let me finish this, reminiscing and telling about when girls were spelling tight corduroys like for the boys, basket weaves, Nike Cortez and footsie socks, and eating pickles with Tootsie Pops, and it don't stop. I'm glad, cause when JJ Fad did Supersonic, it was kinda like a sport to wear biker shorts or to wear jeans, and it seemed like the masses of hoochies had poison airbrushed on their asses. Dudes had on Nike suits, and the boomers with the fat laces, cause it was either that or K-Swiss. I miss those days, and so I pout like a grown jerk, wishing all I had to do now was finish homework. It's true, you don't realize really what you got till it's gone, and I'm not gonna sing another sad song, but sometimes I do sit and reminisce, then think about the years I was raised. Back in the day. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was.
Well, he's here, y'all. I told you I was going to get some people in here that don't interview, but they have a wealth of knowledge. Listen to me. You're going to like this one. Morrell Presley, what's up, my brother?
How you doing, brother? Happy
Good,
birthday.
good,
Thanks
good.
for having me.
Good,
Yes, sir.
good. So what's up, man? What you been doing lately?
Smoking them ribs and barbecue. Staying busy, keeping my wife happy.
That's good.
Yes,
That's
sir.
good.
Yes, sir.
The wife Lex.
Yes, my baby.
Yeah. So when you say smoking them ribs, what does that mean to us? What should we hear from that?
And it's basically not a hear, it's what you smell and what you taste. You know what I mean? The love I put in what I do. And I really put the love into it, and I think you know that. You come by at least 3 times a week.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's what I do to keep me busy.
Now, many people may not know this who are watching you. They might be saying, well, who's that guy? You have an amazing story. You started out in California,
Mm-hmm.
In the streets, doing things that you shouldn't have been doing. Can you tell us a little bit of what you were doing in LA?
Well, I was born and raised in LA, single parent home. Had two sisters and an oldest brother, and I was basically the black sheep of the family. I chose to get my knowledge from the streets and what we say homeboys. So I was introduced into juvenile hall at an early age. I think the youngest unit that they had is where I started, was Unit O and Unit J in Central Juvenile Hall. And I grew and graduated into the bigger stages of the crime and the, doing just doing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And when you were doing it, first off, was it a gang activity or not gang activity?
Well, it started off. We started off as hustlers. We had the pretty girls. Our schools had the pretty girls, and we did a lot of partying. We walked the parties, and the gangs didn't like us when we started, and there was a lot of jealousy and a lot of hatred, and they came over many times, and a lot of times we ran and got away from it, and they got to a point where we just said we're not going to run anymore, and that's what led us into becoming a part of the gang life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you say the gang life, can you describe to me what that means? Part of the gang life. What is the gang life?
Well, I mean, your homeboys become your family. So basically, everybody has everybody's back. Everybody know how that goes in the streets. So we were hustlers. We was called the Mansfield Hustlers, and all the other neighborhood gang members didn't like us. So at the end of the day, we start standing up for ourselves. And of course, guns got involved and shooting got involved, and a lot of murders got involved, and that put us on the map as gang members. And that's when the gangster and all Crip and all that stuff came into part.
Okay.
Where, yeah.
So is it fair to say you were a part of maybe Crip Blood or
Crips?
You were a Crip?
Yeah. But see, as hustlers, we were cool with Bloods. We wasn't, you know what I mean? Understand
Fighting
what I'm saying?
them, like
we didn't fight them.
It wasn't the movie.
Yeah,
idea.
it wasn't. You know, that's what they did. That's what we did.
Right,
At parties and clubs, we saw each other. It wasn't no beef. So we had a good affiliation with a little bit of everybody. And then when it came down to the gang stuff, you know, it was basically the ones that's close to you. It's always the ones that's close to you.
Ones you grew up with.
Yeah, exactly. And them the ones that end up being the rivals in the war.
The jealousy.
Exactly.
Because you, like you said, you all had the girls.
Yeah, we had all the girls.
And back then, having the girls was the thing.
Yeah. When we wore the Filas, Sergeant Bikini, the Elise, we was dressing. And it was a lot of jealousy behind it.
So not just you had the girls, you could dress.
Yeah, we was dressing. And when we was the life of the party. When we came to the parties, everybody was happy because we was partying and we had fun. We didn't come to fight. We didn't come to bother anybody. But then it came to the point where everybody wanted to bother us. And I had a good friend of mine. His name was Chucky Patterson. He was killed.
And what age are you at around this time?
This was the beginning of 1984. And he was stabbed, and he literally died in my arms. And his last words was to me. And that right there triggered something in me to where that just really put me on a point where I didn't take no more from nobody.
So when you're a youngster in 1984, when most people are still riding bicycles, talking to the girls, you're having to deal with this real life issue, this trauma, this real life issue. You lost your buddy, and now it's time to grow up. Like, that's real.
Well, I mean, it became real. See, I've been incarcerated in and out my entire life. Like, if you look at family photos, I'm not in them because I wasn't there for Christmas and the holidays. Juvenile hall to youth authority, and then from the youth authority, I skipped the state penitentiary and went to the federal penitentiary, and I did 2 large bits in the federal penitentiary.
Now, I've just come to know you. You're this is how I describe you, a comedian. You think you're funny.
Me?
You think you're funny, and you are. You know how to tell a joke. You know how to keep the people smiling, and it's genuine. Were you that way even back then?
Yes, I was always the happy person. I don't like bullies because I was bullied when I was younger, believe it or not. So I've never liked bullies. Even like when I was in prison, I wouldn't let the rougher guys mess with the little new guys that come into prison. And I let them know, no, it's not going to happen. I didn't know the person that came in, but I just couldn't allow, that to happen. So I made sure that they were safe, and I used to tell them, just keep your mouth closed, do your program, and go home. Don't try to meet anybody because they'll figure out, as soon as you open your mouth, they'll figure you out. They'll look for your weakness. You know what I mean? So I used to just keep an eye on them.
When you say your program, just get in here and do your program, what does that program mean? Because I don't know anything about being incarcerated. I don't know anything about extracurricular activity other than playing basketball.
Right. Program is basically if they have a job, if you have a job, you go to work. I mean, your activity, you go do your activity. Just really mind your own business.
Okay.
You don't need no friends. Mind your own business. If people see that you mind your own business, and everybody see that, more than likely they will make sure nobody bother you. Because you don't open them doors. When you sit there hanging out with people, they look for weakness in you, and they take advantage of that. So I just tell them, let's mind your business. Do your program, whatever the program is going to lunch, breakfast, dinner. You get a visit, you go in the yard, lift weights, exercise, you want to read a book, go to the library. Just do you. And you shouldn't have any problems.
So going back to 1984, how was you, now that you're a grown man, you've run a successful barbecue business, how did you, get through all of that? What was your way of dealing with it? I don't know if you went to counseling. I don't know if you counseled yourself or you and the homies helped counsel each other. How was you able to get through that traumatic
One thing is,
experience?
when I was younger in juvenile hall and I was in fire camp, I've always wanted to be better and do better. And I used to look at people driving nice cars and like, I want a car like that. Or pass by a nice house. You know, I want to live in a house like that. I didn't think that I had to work hard to get that. So, because I only knew what I knew was the streets. So therefore, me trying to hustle in the streets, thinking that's what you get, and I, you know, what I mean, and it caused me to end up back and forth in the penitentiary because I learned that nothing's for free. You have to work for it. And it took a long time, a lot of years for me to figure it out. And after a while, after so many returning back to prison, I got to a point in my life where I said, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to do this. And I was ashamed. My last one, I was ashamed. I really was ashamed of myself to be in there. And that's the feeling, that's one of the starts of the change. To know that, you know how when you are around people and you try to do better, they say you think you're better than them. I think the answer is I want to be better than you. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I want to do better. Because people like, you know, like bad company, they want bad company too. I don't want to be that company. You know.
So are you saying in order to get through the trauma of losing your close friend, you were able to do what to be able to move forward with your life in some way from that?
I mean, I think I was just surviving
Survival.
at the time. You know, like the king of the jungle. I wasn't going to be the heartless lion. I had to be one of the top of the jungle. And that's how I carried myself. I didn't start anything, but I didn't take anything from anybody. And that's what kept me from that side of being a bully. You know what I mean? But, you know, God has blessed me, and he's always talked to me over the years, like, I have a better plan for you. Just, you know, but being hard-headed, I continue to do a lot of it, and it cost me a lifetime in prison. You know, so like I said, it was a blessing to get to that point to where I just knew this is not for me.
So you always knew about God,
Yeah, definitely.
even though you grew up around an environment that did not dictate just the God, let's do God. But you growing up with your mom and your siblings, you were able to at least grab that part to know that there was a God that walks with you.
Most definitely, yes.
Do you believe that's what over the years has been able to keep you?
Oh, definitely. Just like, for instance, like I used to ride motorcycles, and I crashed on both of them. And on the second accident, God said, I don't have enough angels. That's the last angel for you. Stay off the motorcycles.
Oh, wow.
He said, stay off of them. I can't keep saving you. So I never got back on the Harley Davidson. And I mean, I totaled them twice.
Wow.
The bike was in pieces.
And you're not supposed to be here in regular terms. You're supposed to be in heaven.
Right. I mean, he said that. And I remember because the last one, I went flying backwards in oncoming traffic with no helmet. And I hit my head and I blacked out. And he said that it's your last angel. Stay off the bikes. So, you know, I don't mess with them bikes.
That's good.
Yeah.
So in our private time together, you talked to me about a lot of things relating to your past life with going in and out of jail and dealing with different judges and all of those things. Could you tell me again the story of how big your record was and the things that you did, and then tell me how you came out of it? You know what I mean? You told me a lot.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, once I had caught a serious case, and I ended up beating the case, and the judge had my file. He patted my file and he told me, and this is on record. He said, Mr. Presley, I've been on the board, judge for 30 something years in my whole. I've never seen a file as big as yours. He said, you can get out and save the world. It don't matter because we only know what we read. And he patted. He said, "This, my friend, is a life sentence."
And how big was the folder? Could you
I-
describe?
It was at least.
That's very big.
Yeah,
That's very
It was
big.
thick. And
When most people is like that big,
yeah,
because they might have did one or two things, but
Right.
yours is like that.
see, I remember when I was a kid and I didn't understand what the police said at the time. He said, "You're a hardcore criminal already." I think I was 15 years old, and I never
Wow.
understood. But as the years later, I found out what that meant. I had already had 5 serious felonies, 4 or 5, to make you a hardcore criminal. And now, I mean, years later, I understood what he said. And
Where they have you pegged, they know you.
yeah,
They
once
know
you
you
get
from what that.
yeah, so many felonies, it's like when you go to court and you get in trouble, it's like you really can't help yourself because, like the judge said, we only know what we read, and this proves that you are a hardcore criminal. And some of them, like they think that we can never turn our life around. And here I am now. I can prove that I've turned my life around.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But even before getting to how that you've turned your life around, I want the listeners and the viewers to understand who are in the game of criminal activity
Mm.
or they're in a gang like the Crips or the
Mhm.
Bloods or whatever they're called. I really want you to kind of paint this picture of what you were going through during the time you were involved in the activity. Even though, you had girlfriends, even though you had a good mama, even though you had a sister and a brother,
Mm-hmm.
sisters and a brother. I know you have a younger sister,
Yeah.
but in fact, the older sister and the older brother were there. They were not doing what you was doing. So my question would be, what is it that made you continue down that road when you were not brought up that way?
Most of it is because, like, I was raised, like I said, a single parent. My oldest brother, he was always off doing something else. And my cousins and nieces, they was all female, used to always be the one at my house. I didn't like being around there because I felt like it was woman stuff. So therefore,
Which is
right,
understandable.
yes. So
Yeah.
therefore, I was mostly in the streets. My mom, I love my mom, and she did her best, and she did a good job of raising me. And
I can
raising
tell
us.
because of who you are
Yeah,
today.
thank you. And so I don't never want to take nothing from my mother, but I chose to run the streets with my homeboys. I ran away from home several times. I used to jump out the car at a light. She would be
Wow.
saying because I got kicked out of every school I went to since the 7th grade.
Wow. Wow.
Every school. And she had dropped me off, take me to school, sign me up to a new school. And about time she would get home, I didn't got kicked out of that school.
Hmm.
So you can imagine the anger that I have instilled in my mother. So we'd be driving down the street, and she'd be like, "When you get home, I'm going, I jump out at the light
Wow.
and run away from home and be in the streets. Soon as I'd be like, this next red light, I'm getting the hell out this car. 'Cause I know what she's gonna do.
Because you didn't want to deal with the repercussions.
I didn't want the whipping.
You didn't want
So
the
I'd
whipping.
rather take the streets, and it was cold out there at night. My homeboys at the time, they hang out with me for so long, but come 7:30, 8 o'clock, I see them stretching like, oh, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? And they leave, and I'll be out there by myself at night, and I end up doing something, stealing, breaking in something to do, to get some money, and then wake up in the morning. Nobody knew that I was basically
Homeless.
sleeping in the clubhouses and running the streets. And now keep in mind, I can always go back home, but I didn't want to be up under my mama rules. I didn't like the rules, the strictness, and I didn't like it. I mean, it was
You didn't like
normal,
the rules.
but
Wow.
it was my choice to be like, I don't want to hear that. So therefore, being in the streets all the time, all my problems come because I started. The judge, when I was a kid, he said, "Mr. Presley, it seems like all your troubles is on the weekend. So I started, he gave me 17 weekends in jail. I had to turn myself in on a Friday, and I didn't leave till Sunday.
And you didn't mind doing that?
I didn't want to do it, but I had to do it. I was my...
Well, when I say you didn't mind doing it, to repeat something, thinking-wise, is if you want the same
Right.
results, do the same thing.
Right.
So when I say you didn't mind doing that,
I guess
my question at that time, you didn't mind doing that.
I mean, obvious not. I didn't, because I did it
some
over
people
and over.
didn't show.
Right.
Right. Some people say, the judge say, come here at X time, and they don't show.
Oh no, he have to show. You have to show.
But I'm saying you had to show.
Right.
But some people don't show.
Oh no,
they go AWOL.
And they come get them.
Right. But my point is,
I was there.
You was there.
Right. Okay.
So you were building structure
Mm-hmm.
without knowing you was building structure.
Yeah,
You following me?
Yeah.
So again, my thing with you, and for the people that could be watching or will be watching, what made you say, I don't care? It was just the survival of the fittest?
I don't even think I ever said I don't care. I just what I knew. I did that's what I knew.
You do what you know.
I do what you... Yeah, exactly.
And I've heard you say that before.
Yeah, and I knew was my homies was my family. And in the streets, that's what you do. You do what you got to do to survive. You do what you have to do to protect yourself. Now, I remember before they killed Chucky, an older guy stood up there talking to us. I'll never forget it. He was saying, you know, young brothers, stay out of the streets, and
Wow.
He was standing there talking to us.
Wow.
7 minutes later, Chucky was in my arms dead. And that man stood over me and said, look at your friend. He's dead. I just was talking to y'all. I'll never forget it.
Wow.
And he stood over us.
You didn't tell me that story.
Yeah. I got many. I have so many.
Yeah.
You know,
wow.
But yeah, he stood over me. He said, your friend is not going to make it. And I knew he wasn't going to make it because I literally saw the knife go in his chest twice. And I knew he wasn't going to make it. And I held him and he said, let me go. And after that, that was it. And then I think that was my turning point to where it made me a little bit more violent towards when it was a problem.
You handled it.
I handled it. I didn't start it, but I definitely was a finisher.
Because you remember what had happened to Chucky.
Right. It's just I had promised myself that I would never let nobody get close to me or mine to do that again. You know what I mean? So, and that was a part of, I guess, the bad part of my career, and you know, doing the prison life and the gangbanging.
Well,
and all that.
In my view, right, this is what I view. All things work together for those that love the Lord and who are called according to his purpose, which means to me is everything that has happened in your life was going to happen. Because guess what? Where you sit now, others can watch and say, tell me his story. Now, your story, right, is going to help them. I don't care if it's your sons or whatever, whoever they are, because you've been through these things, but you're still winning. So my thought is, even though you lost your best friend, even though you became not a bully, the finisher, you're still here because you had to learn all of these things. Everything happens for a reason, as we all say in the world. Everything happened for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? Whether someone in our family, we pray for them and they still go to heaven, right? There's things that are in our control, and there's many things that are not in our control. So I don't look at your story as everything bad. I look at it was a young boy that had to grow into the man that he is today. They following me?
Right.
So when I met you, we came to your house, me and my wife, met your wife, met you, and you had that big old dog that was doing whatever you was like.
The one I didn't like.
Yeah. But you was telling jokes, but you're telling me that always was you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That was always you. So I'm saying to you, when you say when I was bad, yes, you were doing things that were bad. I don't feel you were bad. I think you was stuck in a situation that you didn't know how to get out of, like these young boys today.
Well, it's something that one of my uncles that asked my mom about, Bobby, what, my mother, Barbara, baby, I call her Bobby. How did your son turn out like that? He said, well, I was raised around it. So I was raised around killers, gangsters, hustlers, and players and drug dealers. On holidays at my grandmother's house, the front yard be full of Cadillacs and engines running. They tell me to watch the car, and I stand there and watch the car, and guns be in the car. That was my idol. Those were the people that I wanted to be like. When I went over their house, they had nice, big, pretty homes. So basically, when you're a kid and you are around that type of stuff, and you don't know nothing else, this is all you know.
That's my point.
You know what I mean? You didn't understand what it took for them to get it, but you just know that, okay, this is they live good, they looking well, they driving nice cars. So, and weapons everywhere, and that's
what you saw, and
that's what I was raised with.
It wasn't. I like to say it wasn't bad because you didn't know bad from good. You didn't know. I mean, living out in L.A., knowing there's Hollywood, knowing there's TV shows, knowing there's movies, all of these things. Some of that stuff is unobtainable,
right,
for Black kids, Puerto Rican kids, or Latino kids. It's unattainable. It's like, it's not obtainable. It's not something that you could just go do. There's a door that they don't let you in. So if you're watching all of this go on, that's all you know.
See, one thing about like LA, every section is a gang.
Okay. I'm learning right now.
So if you move somewhere, more than likely you moving into somebody's neighborhood.
Oh.
And that's the problem. Every school is a gang. That every gang has their own school. So if you get kicked out of this area, you have to go to this area. You in somebody else's neighborhood and somebody else's school.
Could be.
Right. That's happened to me, to where I didn't went to enemy school.
Wow.
And I wasn't there for 2 days. I got to get out of here. I'll just leave school. I'll just walk away and don't go back to school, because that's a problem.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, like, I had met before one of my last bits in the federal prison. I took this program, and 12 or 14 federal judges came in, and they wanted the judges to meet and see and fill the prison before they take the bench. So they picked 2 people, and I was one of the 2, to sit in front of the judges, and the judges asked similar questions that you asking. And the judge was like, Mr. Presley, I see you have a file, and it's just full, it's packed. You know what I mean? I said, well, that was my learning book. But what my point is then I seen TV shows when they had like Geraldo, when they had a drill sergeant come out and scream in the kid's ear. I never liked that, and I felt that was wrong, because for one, reason is they not going to listen. They don't hear nothing that man is saying. I, as a kid, I felt if I had the love from a mentor to teach me and show me and love me at the same time, I think that would have guided me in a different direction. Because when love is involved, you'll go out your way not to hurt the person you love. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So I didn't have that. I didn't get that.
Right.
So that was mine. When I used to see that on TV, and I was like, all that screaming and yelling, that drill sergeant and taking them kids into them prisons, that's not helping them scream in their ear. You got to show them. And you got to walk with them. You walk with them, you hold them. And
because you was one of those kids.
Right.
Don't be screaming at me. That made me want to stay.
Right, because you can bring 20 kids in here right now, and if you don't lead with a positive example to show them, They not gonna know. And you can tell them anything. That goes in one ear out the other.
Right.
Because when they walk outside the door, reality is outside that door. They living in a low-income neighborhood, gang-affiliated neighborhood. More than likely, the school is gang-affiliated, and majority of the school and the junior highs is bullies because they don't even know that they're bullies.
Right.
But they make fun. If they making fun of you, that's a bully.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you got to think that kid that's in that inner city, that's what he's going through when he walk outside his house and when he go to his school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
It's peer pressure.
Right.
And he'll be cornered to the point to where he either going to join the gang to get that peer pressure off of him, to where he don't feel like he's being bullied. Now he is lead into trouble. And that his whole future is behind him. And a lot of the kids don't understand is, especially men and young black men, is going to jail and keep going back to jail, you kill your seed.
Yeah.
And that's the most important. Once they learn that you're killing your seed, who's going to take your name over?
Yeah.
So basically, your last name stops with you.
Wow.
If you don't change your life and guide yourself to be better,
right,
to teach the one your son and your grandkids to do better. And then, that makes sense?
It makes a lot of sense. Again, when I met you, and I'm just being C-Los. You have your own biological children. And something you said to me is, I love my son, but he gonna have to do right if he gonna be around me. That was so powerful, because to love your son, to not be all right with him being around and he's not doing right, is okay, because when he's ready, he gonna come back. And I had another guest on here, and we briefly talked about it. It's like you cannot force a child. You can't force him. You have to walk with him.
Yeah.
And what you just described is, no, you can't yell at him. You got to walk with him. And what I see now, when I come to your establishment, I see your grandchild, I see your daughter, I see your sister, I see your wife, and I see your sister's husband there. These are family members. I see a community of love. I don't know if anybody gets mad or argues with each other. It don't matter. What I'm seeing is a family that's working together on a common goal to make Morrell BBQ do what it do. So this is a new gang, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's a new gang, but full of love. Did you know that one day that you would be doing this barbecue? Did you know that one day you would have your family working together as a team to get things going?
I didn't know that, but I always kept a good rapport with my family. Like my troubles in the streets, I kept it away from my family. It never came around none of my family. I didn't have to bring drama. It was just me on my own out there. So, and the blessing that my family together and I have my family to help me is totally a blessing. And it feels good. We have a good time. We laugh. I mean, we all humans, so we gonna have our days. Everybody have their days of,
Like
not
that
getting
day when
along
you
or
fell?
arguing, but
Like that day when you fell?
Yeah. But as long as after you calm down, you think about it and you go back and you hug and you apologize.
Yeah.
Sometimes I apologize. I wasn't even wrong.
Right.
But I just don't want the bad energy.
Right.
And it's just uncomfortable when you around people you love and you're not talking.
Right.
So I've always been the glue to the family.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
For those of you that don't know about that part, he slipped and fell, and the family started showing his slip and fall. The good part about it is we all laughed about it.
Yes.
It wasn't like a laugh like, that's what you get.
Right.
It was like, that's what you get.
It was funny.
And you laughed about it.
Yeah. Nobody even seen me fall, and everybody was at the building. I thought before I said something, I said, should I tell them to run the camera back so they can see this? Because nobody saw me, and I had to get up by myself, and And so I told my sister, I said, run the camera back at such and such time. Oh, they put all type of music with it, and Benny Hill songs. So it's funny though.
But see, that's who you are,
Right, yeah.
right? It's fun loving, it's caring, and you're now
It's
doing
memory.
It's building great
It's memory.
memories.
It's memory.
If you come there, you've not tasted the food, you don't mind having them taste the food.
Not at all. And everybody, I don't think it's a person that's been there that didn't walk out with a smile.
That's true.
Because everybody comes and we make them laugh. We have a good time. It's basically, you would think that I was just giving everything away, because basically that's what I do. You know, I love to see people happy. And then when I was a kid, my mom used to say I used to feed the whole block. And she see me coming down the street with 7 or 8 little kids, and she know I'm about to feed them. So when everybody come, I feel like I'm doing something right when I see people feeling good and happy and smiling.
Right.
I know I'm doing my job.
Right. And this is why I said this part of you never left.
No, it's not.
You went through your training ground to be where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, look at you now.
Thank you.
Look
Thank
at you
yeah.
now. You're in Atlanta, Georgia.
I work. It's hard work. And I put in 14, 15 hours a day.
Yep.
6 days a week.
Yep. And you turn off on Mondays typically.
I have no complaints. And if I had to do it again, I would. Yeah, like I always say to people, it beats standing up for count. And count, you know what I mean by that? Every day in federal prison, I don't care what side of town, what state, at 4 o'clock, they are standing up for count. Mandatory stand up for count. You have to have your feet on the ground when they come count you. So I always tell them to beat count. Who
was one of your customers recently?
Oh, this is a good one. So usually I always post, because I've done JetBlue Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Baskin Robbins headquarters. I've done a lot of catering.
A lot. Golf tournaments.
Yeah, I did the golf tournaments, Chris Brown tour, Big 3. So I get my wood from a guy that I met, and he brings me my wood, and he said, I have a catering job. You want? I said, sure. So he give me the information. I give it to my wife, and she, makes the arrangements for the catering. And about 5 days later, my phone rang, and I answered, and it was like, hello, Morrell's BBQ. They said, hi, this is Sheila such and such from the FBI. I said, oh, Lord. Oh, my God. So I get a phone on my way. So then they said, it's catering. I said, oh, okay. Oh, my goodness. It was a flashback, like, that guy called me for. So, I did that. I made sure I cooked the food. It was for 300 FBI at Georgia, federal building of Georgia. And they didn't let me in there. So when I got there, I definitely had to take pictures. So I took pictures with the FBI side. I said, can I take pictures with around here? I need to take some pictures. This has to go in my book.
That is
yeah.
serious.
And they have since then, at least 5 agents have been to my restaurant from that catering job.
Right.
To come get some barbecue. But it was just the difference because I ran from the FBI for 10 years. I had an FBI warrant for 10 years. I've been in federal prison. I mean, it was just me against us against the FBI. And now I'm feeding them.
What a turnaround.
Oh, man, it was an awesome feeling. Usually I post it, but knowing the ignorance of some people.
Of who you knew from your past.
From my past, so I kept that out, but I definitely would put that in my book. But usually I always post it, like I cook for the police department, the fire department, and I post it. I always post the pictures, me with the police, but the ignorance of people that's in the streets when it comes to that. I said it's best that I hold off on that one right there.
At the moment.
At the moment. I said, I'm not going to post
That's
wisdom
right
now, because the first thing will whisper, hey, look, so, and which I don't care what they say.
I know you don't.
I really don't care.
I know. I've only known you a short time, but I can tell you that I know you don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
That don't bother
I don't let the streets don't run my life. And, and they can't tell me what to do or peer pressure or none of that.
Right.
I've been there, done all that. So I'm going to stay living my life the way I like, and that's the good life. Being positive, being loving, caring, and taking care of people, being a part of my community, because that's important to me.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's very important, though.
Well, there you have it, people. You heard Morrell try to get all of you to understand the law of life, love, caring for community, all of those things. So if you're out there in the streets doing whatever you're doing, I want you to understand this, that it is a learning message that you're going through right now, and you need to try to find the Morrells of the world that can help you. Because look at him now. He's winning big with feeding people, and not only feeding people, but feeding the FBI, something that he probably never thought would have happened, but God kept him. So if you don't know, now you know.